Okay, record. And let's start the session by introducing ourselves.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Through the Eyes of a Boy Child show. It is a show where we are practically figuring out how to stop the vicious cycle of gender-based violence. With me, I'm joined by Andile Sigasana and Tumisang Musiatlach.
Yes.
My name is June Mukoka, and I'm from a NPC called Growing Smart Leaders, where I train, mentor, and coach young people for leadership and career development. But for today, we are focusing on one of our programs. It's actually a campaign that we are going to run called Through the Eyes of a Boy Child. So I would like the two of them to introduce themselves, then we'll start talking. Ntate Andile, you can start and introduce yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be part of this conversation. My name Andile Sigasana from Cape Town, born and bred. And as far as I'm concerned, I am a life coach by passion, by calling, because I so believe whenever you do anything that contributes or builds or change or affirms another person's life in a good way or impact in a good way, then you don't mind working over hours on that. So yeah, that being said, I also have to say, you know, in the journey, I have to self-identify myself. Who am I in this world? What's my contribution? So I believe I am an entry-level Christian. What is an entry-level Christian? One would ask, okay, what is actually saying? An entry-level Christian is someone who is imperfect, who is the imperfect soldier of Christ, which is I am growing in my faith spiritually. So there's nothing fulfilling than that for me at my age. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Andile.
That's
now
me.
we are moving to Tumisang Musiatlach from the Northwest. You can talk now, Tumisang. Okay, Tumisang, you can introduce yourself.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tumisang Musiatlach. Straight from Klerksdorp, grew up in Goster, and then, well, schooled at the Northwest University. So I've joined the Through the Eyes of a Boy Child via the Golden Key institution. And the importance of joining something that benefits the entire society is that it doesn't only contribute to everybody else, but it also helps you develop yourself, right? And I also believe that through unity, we can resolve the ills that are happening in society. Because many of us as individuals, we can come up with many different solutions or see what the problems are, but it's through coming together that we can resolve these problems, where different people unite as one mind. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tumisang. So, to the audience, Through the Eyes of a Boy Child is what I thought of, especially after I realized that this global pandemic has taught me that as human beings, we are connected. We are more connected than we can think of. Okay, maybe I'm naive, but I still haven't lost faith in humanity. I still believe all of us have something good and all of us has something bad. And if we work hard enough to meet each other halfway, we can root out the conflict, the hatred in the world, and finally get to a place where we're saying, let's come together, you know, without bearing resistance. And I said, you know, let's look at this gender-based violence through the eyes of a boy child. Why through the eyes of a boy child? Because we need to find healing in all these gender-based violence issues. We need to find the root cause. We need to know why is this happening. Because if we look at it as if males are sinners and females are saints, we are just, you know, creating more resistance. We are just creating more arguments, but the root cause of where such a behavior is coming from. So that's why I've decided to say every week we'll have these talks, and we are actually uprooting the real issues. And we are saying to you, join us, help us, let's come together as a nation, because we are connected as human beings. And it is not time to point fingers and try to think who did this better than who did not do this better. All we want is to come together and say, let's find a solution. So we will be having, through the eyes of a boy child talks. It's not a long process, but it's something very fulfilling, because we are only saying, let's magnify the glass. That seeks to unroot this gender-based violence. So for tonight, I only have 2 questions. And I'll always be asking questions, and you as the audience can always write to answer as well, but mainly the questions is for my for my panel. So I'm not going to say who should answer what, but between the 2 of you, can you please tell me, are we, you know, are we naturally a society with sociopaths and psychopaths? That's why all this is happening. Or are we just a people? Did you get my first question?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to know, because sometimes, sometimes
I think I'll take that first question.
You'll take the first question. Let's go through it.
I think I'll take that first question while I'm still hot and lovely. Okay, I think guys, thank you, June, for that entry. You know, we let me just say quickly, today's news, unbelievably, there's shocking judicial system, how they are contributing to these small efforts we are engaging. There's a pastor from Cape Town. I won't be doing drop names, okay? But I think yesterday, this pastor got a bail for a rape. I think it's a 14-year-old girl that he raped. He's out on a bail. That's one. In Durban, a teenage boy, a 14-year-old, has raped a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
If I can just come in there, I like that you highlighting what is happening, and now it comes to my question: are we living with sociopaths or psychopaths? What is happening? Help me understand that.
All right. As we are saying, are we living with such psychopaths? Then we need first to understand what is a psychopath. Okay, a psychopath is a traditionally a personal disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, someone who is mentally impaired, who's got no empathy and no remorse, and someone who's very bold in what he's doing. That is the
Maybe if you can
dictionary.
say, maybe if you can say bold in inflicting pain in other people.
Bold and inflicting pain in other people. Thank you to add on that. So what does that mean? Well, I'm not a psychologist, but what I know from my life skills and from my previous cases is that when someone is traditionally having that kind of a disorder, it means there's a root cause of this. Now, in our society, unfortunately, we've been, as I started my topic with what is happening currently in the country with these judicial cases. Unfortunately, it's a pandemic way before the coronavirus and other pandemics of human lack in delivery from our government. But on itself, the gender-based violence is a pandemic that has never been tackled in the right way. It's been in existence for over 50, 60 years. Now, what do we do now moving forward? We've done the marches, we've done the campaigning.
Today we just want to understand, because because this is just the beginning of our talks.
Yeah,
I want to understand. Can we?
In summary,
because Tumisang is a psychology student. Maybe he can enlighten me a bit, because I'm a woman in South Africa. I need to understand that. Am I a woman living with psychopaths and sociopaths? Should I just accept that that is a mental disorder in our country, so that I shouldn't judge these people, but find a way to help them? So
yeah.
let me. I'll come back to you. Okay.
Let me say in closing, yes, we do have those kind of mentally disturbed human beings called sociopaths and so on. So yes, we do live among us, but they are enclosed in a human body of me and you. So it's not easy to identify. So Tumisane, probably you can enlighten us more.
All right. So I think in the society that we are living in, there is a small minority of people who do display symptoms of psychopathy and sociopathy. However, I personally think that we are living in a society that has been desensitized emotionally, in the sense that most people are aware of the decisions they make. Before a man decides to go and harm a woman, he is aware, he already thought of it, right? And it made sense to him. But now, the question is, he didn't think about it.
Sorry to disturb you. Does that not describe more of a sociopath? Because a sociopath can say they know what they're doing. Remember, according to how Andile explained a psychopath, it's, they are born that way. A sociopath knows, but they just don't care. So that's why I'm confused to say, do we have these people among our midst, or what is happening?
Yeah, as I was trying to say, being emotionally desensitized. Remember, men, as in general, men are taught that they are to be strong, right? Not display any form of emotion. So now, when it comes to relationships, in most cases, women are demanding that men display a form of emotion to them. But men growing up are not trained on how to deal with their emotions. So they are stuck now in an emotional unbalance, where at one point they might be too emotional, and then they're described as weak, right? It discourages them. So then they become overly unemotional, where they become cold-hearted and insensitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So men in general just for this part. We want power in everything we do and also in relationships. We want to be in control. But this society is telling men that, well, you are just equal to women, right? And the treatment between men and women has to be the same, and men should not be masculine and all that stuff. So I think that, well, when it comes to the gender-based violence, there are many different factors which we cannot outline immediately right now, but there are many different contributing factors that lead to a man deciding to abuse a woman. But overall, we men, we want to be in control. However, the power dynamic is not being executed properly in a way that it wouldn't harm
So
women in society.
what you're trying to say, the power dynamics is not balanced.
Yes.
And I like that both
Not,
of you.
let me take, okay. No, I want to say that balanced in such a way that, because societal norms are that men are always on top, they have the dominant position, and women are below men. But as we've seen as time went on, since around World War II, women have been told that they are equal and somewhat above men, right? So it could be that some men might take it the wrong way. Also regarding cultural factors as well, where men are conditioned to think that they are above. So that power dynamic might come into play.
Might come into play.
And it might have been distorted.
For example, I think the society also, John, needs to understand. I think for the longest time, we have denied ourselves the right to claim that gender-based violence is a problem. And being a problem, it needs solutions, not talk the talk. It needs now solutions. I think this is a battle that can never be won overnight or by few individuals. But then for us to take the initiative to be where we're starting, it's okay. And that's what men have never been taught from the earliest childhood, is that it's okay to cry, for example. But I won't go into that. But I think what Misani was saying is exactly that, because we have this egoistic and power that whatever man is doing is better off than a woman. In the society we live in, for once, we wouldn't be having partners who are working. Like my wife, she works, she brings something into the table financially, she assists. Now, that doesn't intimidate me as Angela, but another man in another home might be intimidated because of the lack of understanding this superiority or entitlement that as a man, I'm supposed to do everything to provide it, etc. So we need to start from the beginning of this root cause, which for me, in another topic with some other gentlemen, I said it starts with the home, in the belly of a woman. When a man doesn't understand the pregnancy process of a partner, that's where the chain is broken from that instant, even long before he becomes an absent father. All right. So it's a lot.
It's actually a lot. That's why when I introduced it, I said, you know, much as we love talking, you said it yourself, we are not going to make this a talk show. We call it Through the Eyes of a Boy Child, because we are introducing a tool that we have created, and that tool, it's a magnifying glass that is going to outroot this problem. But in order for this tool to be effective, we need every responsible citizen to say, this is my moral responsibility to contribute to making sure that this comes to an end. So for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I only wanted to ask about this question: psychopaths and sociopaths. And I am happy that 2 men in South Africa, I really salute you guys, because when I make this call, you raised your hands and said, I'm in. And I salute you guys, because I need questions as a woman. I need to know have I done something wrong to be a South African woman? I love my country. So did I do something wrong? So that it doesn't even matter whether it's at night or during the day, anything can happen to a woman in South Africa. So what I am saying is, let's start. And this is not a talk. This is a talk towards implementing a tool that we have created and we want to use it. So also, you listeners, think about it. Is it the issue of running to the mental institution and say, check these people out? Are we having psychopaths among us? Or is it just an issue of sociopaths who have emotional baggage from the past? Now they are taking out their anger on women. But the question that I want to leave everyone with today is, are we a society that lacks the inner ability to nurture empathy, emotional intelligence, and vulnerability? Maybe before we can even say we are going to solve this, we should ask ourselves if we are a society that lacks to nurture. I'm a mother. Did I nurture that to my grown-up children? They are teenagers now. Did I nurture empathy, emotional intelligence, and vulnerability as they grew up to my son? And did I teach my daughter the same way to say, this is how people engage in society? So with this, I'm going to leave our talk at that. And I'm just going to say, to summarize, you can close. And next week, when you follow us on Facebook, we'll post questions. It's going to be a 15-minute talk, because we are saying we are tired of talking. We want solutions. We want solutions, and we want answers. So it will be a weekly talk, but it will also be engaging. So for now, I'm going to leave Ntate Andile to say whatever you want to say before I close.
Yeah, in closing, I just wanted to cement what you were saying about this initiative we are doing. It is the initiative, the aim of this initiative is to assist, is to educate, is to support those with mental health issues and addiction challenges. It teaches and improves the communication and the conflicts that are happening in every household. So by saying that, our own silence makes us complicit of this gender-based violence. The silence of the judicial system is complicit to this gender-based violence. The society in silence is the complicity to this conflict. So let's do this. And that's my closing words for tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Tumisang?
Okay, my closing words are, this problem of gender-based violence will affect every man, because whether a man is good or bad, he will be viewed in light of those men who caused the violence. So it's a matter of every man, every responsible citizen, as you said, to contribute and to be part of this, this movement in order to resolve this problem of gender-based violence, right? Because me, I don't participate in beating up women. I don't even endorse it. But whenever I walk in public, there's always that sense of I'm viewed as a danger to society. So we need to train men. Right?
Absolutely.
Not just talk, but train them to view themselves as safe people in society, and also for society as a whole to view men as safe, that they wouldn't pose any form of danger towards women and towards children and everybody else. So
and it's okay to cry.
In this country, That's for next
It's
week.
okay.
I don't think so.
It's okay to, you see,
I don't know.
I need to emphasize that one for men. This ego thing, it's okay to cry. Yeah. It starts there. Let's cry as men, as we are crying now. So it must be a daily bread that crying it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll worry about that next week.
Next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. As I've mentioned, this is called Wounds to Wisdom Wednesdays. We call them Wounds to Wisdom Wednesdays because we are saying every Wednesday, let's remember the wounds of our society, but let's turn them into the wisdom that will bring us towards solutions, you know, mutually beneficial solutions towards gender-based violence. And
Absolutely.
in closing, I just want to say to all the men who are not participating in gender violence, but who are doing nothing, always remember, evil perpetuates because good people are sitting by and saying, oh no, what has happened to the world? Be the change you want to see. We look forward to your participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.